We asked for rain, now we've got far too much rain. So here's the area which has been worked on by the digger. So it's drawn the topsoil all back to there. The line of the edge of the shed is in line with this cone, so from here all the way out, this is just going to be basically a workspace for the guys who are building the shed. They're going to put all their equipment down, all the pieces for the shed, all the steel. So this is where the shed will be. I'm kind of standing in the shed. It will be, the centre will be in line with the top conveyor of the grain dryer. So the next stage is just to bring in 2,000 to 3,000 tonnes of gravel for the grounding of all of this area. Need a solid compact bed for a shed to be built onto, and that's stage 2. Today's question of the day, it's quite a hard one. What am I looking at just now? So this was the dial I asked a question about yesterday. So it's got 3 options. This option that it's usually on is 4-wheel steer. So the front wheel steer and the back wheel steer. The middle option is 2-wheel steer, which is exactly the same as most cars. So the front wheel steer, rear wheels are always facing straight. And then the final option is crab steer. So both the sets of wheels steer in the same direction, so the forklift moves like a crab. So it's handy for getting in tight to walls, doing silage pits and things like that. The crab steer you want when you want the cab always facing the same direction, but you still want to be able to move left and right. So we have to spray some oilseed rape with a fungicide. Load of compost arrived. Actually no, Kevin went and collected all that compost from Kinross. John Scott, meat delivery. This is the brake pipe on the trailer. Kevin's just taking it off. Basically this end had a leak, and then also it seized when he was taking it off, so it's snapped anyway, but you don't repair these, you just replace them, so it didn't matter. So I'll go and try and get a new one fitted up, and we'll get that back on today. Kevin's just been cleaning out the shed. You can see where he's been with the brush. That's why it's all dusty. Just a new brake pipe in into there. So the hydraulics build up the pressure, this piston moves out, and then the shoes push out onto the drums and break the wheels. So Kevin's just going to test it and check it's not leaking. Seems to be fine. So this is the brush that goes in the bucket. So that rotates and pushes all the stour and dust and whatnot into the bucket, and then you go and tip it, and it pivots at the top so you can tip it out with the brush on. The brushes are all kind of worn down now, so that'll be a winter job we could do with putting a new set of brushes on it. Quite handy, use it quite a lot just before harvest, cleaning out the sheds. We're having a bit of an issue with uneven wear on this tractor, Kevin's tractor. So this tyre was on the other side, and you can see up here, this side of the tyre is worn much more than this side. It's got a big chunky bit left, this one's worn. So we think it's basically, as it's running along the road, that side's closest to the verge, it's worn that away. So we swapped the tyres round, this one over to that one over to this one, just to try and get this one to wear down a bit more now and let that one free a bit, so they'll both be knackered at the same time, and you can swap them both and we'll get a longer life out of them. Some wormer for the cows and a big auger drill bit. I'm pretty optimistic putting it in this drill. I'll see if it does the job. It's to hang this hinge for the gate post on the for the gate on the strainer post we put in the other day. So this is the fence post we put in yesterday. We hinged the bottom just because you just hammer that in with a sledgehammer. The top one has to go all the way through. The other one just goes to here and it's forced in. Whereas this one, you have to do it all the way through, because So on the bottom of the gate, obviously it's pushing in the way, and on the top of the gate it's trying to fold out the way, so it's pulling on it, so you have to have all the way through with a bolt and washer on the back. This drill looks ridiculous with that big auger drill bit in it, but it's working. That's Dunk just disappearing in the distance there. He's spraying this field of rape with fungicide. It'll get 2 fungicide sprays, this is about a week into flowering, and then 1 towards the end of flowering. Normally we'd try and get away with 1 fungicide spray, but because of that weevil bug that's attacked it, there's shorter plants in there that are going to flower a lot later, so we're going to have to do 2 flowering sprays. So that's the threaded part goes in, and then once you get to the square end, you just start chapping, and the square size allow it, means it doesn't twist, and it also friction fits it in with a bolt on the back end, and then that'll go through that eye and it should swing easy enough. You do get a bit of adjustment in these ones if you don't get it bang on. This allows you to adjust the angle of the gate so it sits right. That's us. One swinging gate. Perfect. Done. Cut that wee bit of rope off. Cut towards your chums, not your thumbs. More kit arrived for the shed. Forklift, dumper, digger's still there, and a roller on the front of the forklift. Just bringing in the cows this morning to worm them. Been out for 6 weeks now, so get them wormed. Had the forklift and the quad bike, and then I fed them in there, and they came in not too bad. Just had a big faff this morning. This is the wormer we use. I bought it yesterday, just brought the cows in, and then I checked the date on it, and it goes out of date next month, which is really short. We've got another bottle from last year that's still in date, so, and we're not going to be able to use all that. It's 130 quid a bottle. I mean, this bottle's last year's and it's still in date, so that's the same batch. So took it back, but you're not allowed to legally return medicines in case it's been tampered with or anything. So in the end I managed to get it half price, but still caused a bit of time loss this morning to get these cows done. So this is the wormer solution. 10 mil per 100 kilos of weight. So it'll be about 600 kilo of these cows. So they'll get 60 mil each. The calves will get 10 mil, they'll be about 50 to 100 kilo each of them.
I can leave. I'm working and I'm new. Will you dare to give it over and walk by my side? Do you see the road? Do you hear it's gone? Do you want a part of it? Just getting me above now. Just getting me above.
he was looking over this gate and seeing all the cows, so he was getting fired up, ready to go, which is good. Glad to see that. There he is. I'm glad he was fired up. You don't want him to be ignoring the cows. So that's everything for this video. If you go and give it a like down in that corner and subscribe down in that corner, help it do a bit better.